this video, I'm going to talk about how to put together a business plan for your law firm, or maybe just a business plan for your practice within a law firm. Now, before we go any further, just click the subscribe button if you're on YouTube, and you'll get all of my videos delivered to you regularly. And please, if you found this video useful, like it. So let's get started. How do you put together a business plan for a law firm? What needs to go in it? And how do you make sure you and the rest of your partners or the people in your team actually want to do it and play with it? So where do we start? Well, the first thing we start with is you taking some time out. If you're sitting there and you're doing shed loads of billable hours, you're not going to be in the place where you really want to think about the future. And actually, if you're going to put together a business plan for your law firm, that's exactly what you need to do, is you need to think about the future. That means you need quality thinking time. That means you need to step out of the work room. Now, if you need to, and you need to get other partners involved, this is a good time for an off-site to talk about your law firm business plan. Now, if you're in this and we're still social distancing, or you work remotely, then think about it as a day out, but interspersed with Zoom meetings. You can't do 6 hours straight on a video conference call. So where do we start? Step one to put together your law firm business plan is about taking some time out. I know that sounds strange, but we need to get you out of the day-to-day. We need to get you to the point where your thinking is of the quality, where you're really connected about what you want. If you're still thinking about the day-to-day hustle and this matter and that matter, you're not going to get that quality thinking time. So actually, step one is about quality thinking time. Go for a walk, meditate, maybe put a different environment around you. You know, you may be in that point where you're permanently working from home. Can you go in a different room? I know that when I go in our conservatory and the warmth of that room just makes me relax. It's amazing the quality of my thinking that I get there. So get some quality thinking time. The first thing you've got to do now with thinking about actually putting together your law firm business plan is to work out what you want. I know that sounds strange because your law firm is probably going, well, you need to achieve this amount, but actually, everything's easier when you know what you want, when you know what your purpose is and how your law firm business plan is going to get you there. So think about what you really want. You know, are you writing this with a view to go from fixed share equity to full equity? Are you writing this with a view to go and get into the partnership? Are you writing this to maybe put in an exit plan for you personally? Are you writing this to expand your small law firm? What is your purpose? What is your why? What are you trying to do this? You know, when at your best, what is the long-term game? Too often we think about, oh, I need to write my business plan for my law firm in order to satisfy the rest of my partners, because it's what we've always done. Actually, the first step is really connecting in with your why. Why am I doing this? What's the point of this? Because if you're trying to create something that doesn't connect with your why, it will just become much harder. And ultimately, you won't be energized to do it. Particularly not if you want to do some difficult, complicated stuff. The next thing you need to do is, before you go into where do I want to go, is have a really good look at the as is, the current situation. And if you're listening to this and it's still times of coronavirus, what you'll realise is that we're in a very turbulent backdrop. We've got lots of change happening around us. I'm talking about the UK at the moment, but the commercial property market, aviation, travel, tourism is in a lot of problems. So actually, there's never been a more important time to really look at what's happening right now and what trends are going on. So I like two basic analysis tools. The first one is the SWOT, strengths, weaknesses, where you look internally, and then opportunities and threats, where you look externally. You can do that on yourself, your team, your practice, the bigger practice. This is a great thing to really understand where are the gaps. You know, perhaps you're over-reliant on one or two big cases that may be coming to an end. Perhaps you're over-reliant on one or two big clients that regularly feed you work. You know, where are you over-reliant? Where do you have cash cows? What does that look like? I love a tool called a steepled analysis, which is where you look at the external forces that are around about. And actually, with the amount of turbulence, the amount of change, I was recording this in August 2020, the amount of turbulence, the amount of change, this is probably the most essential bit. What are the trends and what are accelerating them? So what are the social trends? We are seeing social distance probably part of our life for the next few years. We're seeing a move away from public transport because of social distancing. We're seeing a massive move out of the big cities to the commuter towns. We're seeing a massive move to hybrid working. What are those social trends for you? Then T, what's the technology? What is technology doing? You look at the law and e-disclosure, all about that, what's happening in that artificial machine learning world. How is that impacting what you do? Then the next thing is the economic environment. At the time of recording this, we were at a deep, dark recession. Apparently a U or a V-shaped recovery, but let's hope it just happens quickly. But you need to look at that. What does that mean for your law firm? If you've got, and your law firm business plan, if you've got a traditionally strong contentious practice, this will be strong now, as long as there's liquidity in the marketplace. So we've done economics, ethics, what's actually happening ethically? What can you do, what can't you do? And regulation, ethics and regulation. So we've done STEE, what's the politics? We're probably seeing a shift potentially away from populism, thankfully. But what's going on? What's going to happen with Brexit? What does that actually mean? Then the legal and regulatory. What's likely to be changing with the legal and regulatory landscape? Then E, environmental. And then D, demographics. When you look at all those trends, it will start to show you what are the threats coming along, what are the opportunities, and how should your law firm business plan react to that. And that's the whole point about why do we put together a business plan for a law firm. It is to make sure that we're looking ahead, we're not just doing the day-to-day, that we're making sure that our practice is resilient with whatever comes along. Now, you should now have a good picture of your as-is. If you haven't already, go and look at your numbers. Where are your best performing clients? What is the trends in terms of what work is in demand? Where have you got, maybe in your team, well-performing people? Where are the gaps? It's now time to think about the future. What's next for you? Are you putting together your law firm business plan to take you into the partnership? Are you putting together your law firm business plan to take you to equity partnership? Are you putting together a business plan for your law firm to help your small law firm grow? What is the future? What are those personal aspirations? What is it that you wanted when you set out on this path? Are you there? If not, do you still want to get there? This is why taking time out and getting really clear about your own personal motivators and drivers. Perhaps your kids have got to a certain age, so you've got more time, you've got more headspace to go for more growth. Where do you want to be? I'm recording this in 2020, so any law firm that plateaus their revenues or a slight growth has done really well this year. What does recovery look like for your law firm? Where do you want to take it? Will you go more, what does the future look like? This is now the time to put it down. And one of the things we like is the stage model that we use. We start with those personal aspirations and we then put down what are the KPIs that if I took a picture in 3 years' time, I could tell you whether you've been successful or not. So what are those KPIs? In the business plan for your law firm, you're looking at turnover, you're looking at profit, both net and gross profit. You're probably looking at the average client fee. You're probably looking at the chargeability utilization of your team. But you might be looking at more KPIs, such as the split between the service lines, maybe the number of internal, external referrals, whatever is important to your business plan. So let's just say you're contentious, your litigation, insolvency. What's going to be really important is about the number of referrals you generate for others in the firm and how many referrals come into you, both from internal and external. Then on the stage plan, and if you're looking for a copy of the stage model, there's a link in the description for where you can download it. And in that stage model, you then put in what are my targets either for the next 12 months or the next 3 years. And you, in those rings in the diagram, what you'll actually see is you can either do it as every quarter or every year. And you put down, where do I want to be either in a year or in 3 years, and then you backfill the numbers between the as is and the now. Now look at your numbers. What do you know is just going to happen because it's already going that way and will still happen? What could you maybe run out of resource for? And that I mean by cash, and I mean by capacity. Look at those numbers. Where do you need to do something different? And typically that's a project or objective. Write that down. That is a key part of your law firm business plan, is the objectives that will get you from year 1 to year 2, or from month 3 to month 6 to month 9 to month 12. Those are the objectives that's going to focus you. Now, people wonder how to go about putting together a law firm business plan. Very often they're thinking about the marketing plan for that. Now, of course, if you've got targets that mean that you want to go out and win more work and you're not relying on a regular income stream from regular clients, then of course there's got to be a marketing plan as part of that business plan. What are you going to do to achieve that? And then look at your resources, your capacity as part of that plan. Where does that need to change? What do you need to do differently? Maybe something's got to change to your practice efficiency. Put that into your plan. Now look at the critical success factors. Particularly if you're going, and this part of your plan is to take you to full equity or maybe into the partnership. Actually, what are those critical success factors? That might be something to do with the economy. That might be something to do with the people. How many of your team do you need to keep? How many trainees do you need to qualify into your department? How much do you need in terms of your marketing plan? That is the final step within your law firm business plan. Now, you could put this on one piece of paper. You could put it on a huge, massive 70-page document. It all depends on what your law firm wants. I'm in favour of keeping it short and sweet and really focusing on a sort of 3 month by 3 month basis. But it's whatever matters to you. Now, if you click on a link in the description, it will take you to some articles on my blog, How to Make Partner, that will give you more detail about how to put together that law firm business plan.